You cannot drift through life anymore without a clear destination. It's gone too long. Today, I'm going to talk about how to completely change your life in the next 6 months. This is for anyone who's tired of feeling stuck, or whether you're tired of your job, or you're in a job that you hate, or you're just out there and you're at a point where you're just like, I know deep down inside that I am not living to my full potential. I know that I am meant for more in some sort of way. And I was really inspired and saddened at the same time. I was talking with a good friend of mine, and his dad had been at a job for 20 years. And his dad got fired from the job after 20 years. And he thought for the longest time that his job was so quote unquote secure. And I want to tell you this, not to scare anybody at all, but when you're working for someone else, it's not really quote unquote security, because if we saw something in 2020, 35 million people in the United States alone got fired in 2020 when COVID came through. That's not real security. And so I got inspired to really think like, all right, well, he needs to turn his life around. His dad really needs to kind of change his life around and start over in a lot of different ways. And his dad started looking around and being like, well, what do I want to do with my life? What are my dreams? What is it that I want to do? I've been doing this thing for so long, and then I was just dropped. Maybe I should start thinking about what is it that I want to do. And so this is going to be a 3-step process to completely change your life in the next 6 months. Okay. Step number 1 is very simple, but for some reason, I don't get why people rarely ever actually do this. And I say this over and over and over and over and over again, but you have to get really clear on what it is that you want in your life. You have to get crystal clear. Like if a 4-year-old came up to you and they're like, explain it to me in detail, you could explain it in detail to a 4-year-old. It's got to be very simple, very clear. But most people are like, well, I just want to make more money. That goal sucks. Oh, I just want to lose weight. That goal sucks. Get more clear. What do you want? You cannot drift through life anymore without a clear destination. It's gone too long. You need to get very clear on what it is that you want. And look at all of the ancient texts. They all say something along the lines of, ask and you shall receive. You're not asking because you're not getting clear. So most people, they kind of drift through life and they have no real clear destination. They wake up, they drive to work, they go to work and they do their job for a little while. Then they get back in their car and they drive home and they watch Netflix and they might have some sort of dinner, and it's on repeat every single day, Monday through Friday. And then they sit around, they're like, I wonder why nothing in my life ever changes. Because you don't change. You haven't gotten clear on what it is that you want. Do not let you be one of those people. Here's what you need to do. You need to figure out your vision. You need to figure out what it is that you want, and you need to lock into that vision. And so you got to ask yourself, what do I actually want? Like if a Gundam was to my head and said, explain it to me in as much detail as possible, I would have to explain it. So like not what your parents want for you, not what society wants for you. What excites you? What do you want? I want you to picture yourself 6 months from now living your ideal life. Where are you? What do you do for work? How do you feel? What do your days look like? And I want you to write it down, pen and paper, seriously, and get specific. The more vivid your vision, the stronger your drive will be. And then what I want you to do is I want you to brainwash yourself in a good way, because we've unconsciously been brainwashed by everything that's ever happened to us in our entire life. Every moment of our life, every conversation, every person that we've watched. We've all been brainwashed in some sort of way. Now it's time for you to brainwash yourself. Your brain is constantly reinforcing whatever it is that you feed it. So you've got to start feeding it the future that you want. You've got to visualize it daily. You've got to see it. You've got to see yourself already living the life that you want. Then you've got to develop some form of affirmations. Even though they feel weird and they feel corny, they start to feel a lot more empowering the more that you do them, right? And say to yourself what it is that you want. So let's just use the example for today's episode. Like, I want to start, maybe I'm an accountant at some firm and I've been there for 12 years. And I'm like, you know what? I really want to start a business and I want to earn $10,000 a month in my business. Okay, well then my affirmation is going to be something like, let's say that you want to start a I always use an example of Etsy business. Let's say it's an Etsy business. Let's say you want to start an Etsy jewelry business. You're going to start visualizing what that would look like to have that Etsy jewelry business and visualize it and visualize it. And then you're going to say to yourself, I'm becoming the person who makes $10,000 a month off their Etsy jewelry business. I'm becoming the person who earns $10,000 a month off their Etsy jewelry business. Your brain does not know the difference between something that's real and something that you're imagining. So when you visualize it and then you speak it, you're basically brainwashing yourself into believing that it's possible. Because most of the time, we're just stopping ourselves because we don't believe that it's possible. Like we kind of do, but we don't fully believe it. And then what I want you to do is control your inputs. So stop watching all of the negative news, cut out all of the doubters in your life, the people that don't want more for you, or the people when you tell them your dreams are like, oh, that's not possible. And then consume success stories. Start looking at other people who came from nothing, people who built a business to $10,000 a month in their first 6 months, someone else who has built a successful jewelry business. So maybe you look at the story of Kendra Scott and how she built a $1 billion business. And then what I want you to do is I want you to figure out what it is, and this is a big, big piece of all of this, right? Is to figure out what it is that you want and have a part of that be a high income skill that you want to learn and master. And so if you want to change your life fast, you need to pick a skill that is a high income skill or can become a high income skill. And then what you're going to do, it could be, and I'll give you a bunch of different examples, right? It could be like running Facebook ads for other people. It could be writing articles. It could be making YouTube videos. It could be coaching people. It could be starting a Shopify store. It could be, starting an Etsy store. It could be doing Facebook ad revenue. It could be sponsorships. It could be starting a clothing brand. It could be selling courses. It could be writing emails for other people and getting better at copywriting. It could be selling supplements. It could be selling something on Amazon. It could be being a freelancer on Upwork.com. It could be social media management. It could be YouTube. It could be writing Kindle books, consulting, freelance writing. I don't care what it is. Figure out one skill that really interests you. Not like I'm just doing for this for money, but it like actually truly interests you. And then commit. You spend the next 6 months mastering one skill. Because I'm going to tell you, if you really focus on the next 6 months, you go to your job that you hate, whatever, you come home and you go, I'm going to focus on this skill. I'm going to try to get as much knowledge about this skill and getting better at this skill over the next 6 months. If you do that in 6 months, you'll be better than most people in this world at that skill. And if it's a high income skill, guess what? Eventually you could turn it into a business in some sort of way. And so that's the first thing, is get really, really clear on what it is that you want. The second thing that you're going to do is you're going to make a plan. And guess what? You're actually going to follow it. So make a plan, because what is a goal without a plan? It's more than anything else, it's just a wish. And so what you want to do is you want to make an action plan that you'll actually stick to. And so you're going to want to figure out, okay, I know in 6 months I want to be here. So let's break it down. So instead of saying something like, I want to make $10,000 a month, make it tangible. How much do you need to be making per week? How many clients or products or services do you need to get there? If you're selling just bracelets, how many bracelets do you need to sell to be at $10,000 per week? What actions are going to move the needle the most? And you break it down so that you actually make it tangible and you know what things that you need to do. So, if you want, let's say you want to do $5,000 a month in freelance writing. Okay, well then I need to find 10 clients that are going to be paying me $500 a month each. So if that's the case, I need to send 5 pitches per day on Upwork and Fiverr, or cold emails, or through LinkedIn. And I'm going to work on improving my skills daily through this online course and through practicing my writing 3 hours a day. And that's what you really start to do by breaking it down and actually starting to get clear. And one thing I want you to do is I want you to stop lying to yourself as a part of this. As a part of changing your entire life and changing everything, I want you to know that there's a pretty good chance that deep down inside of you, you already know what you want. And you already know what you need to do to get the life that you see in 6 months. And so the problem a lot of times isn't knowledge. Like if you want to be a freelance writer, it's usually not about, hey, of course you can definitely get better at writing, but it's not about like, hey, I need to go figure out how to become a better writer over the next 6 months. You're probably already a pretty decent writer. You know what you need to do to get to the goal that you need to be at 6 months. There might be a little bit of clarity that you need to figure out, but the problem most of the time isn't knowledge for people, I've found. The problem is lack of action. So you've got to start to be really honest with yourself as you're going through this process. Are you actually putting in the work? Or are you just sitting around and thinking about it? So you want to give yourself no more excuses. No more, I don't have time. You have time. You're just not using it wisely. Use your time that is the free time that's around work and around the kids. And it might be 5 hours or 10 hours a week as of right now. But use it. Be fully locked in those 10 hours a week. And then I want you to understand that your plan that you're going to create in step 2, it's going to change. That's okay. It's not a big deal. Your first plan will not be perfect. You're going to hit a ton of roadblocks in the next 6 months. I promise you that. But you have to just adjust and keep going. As long as your destination stays the same and you're heading in the right direction and you're taking the right action, you will eventually get there. And so that's step number 2. And then step number 3, if you're really serious about hitting this goal, disappear for the next 6 months. This is the part that nobody talks about. And this is a step that most people will not do. And that's why most people stay stuck. But for the next 6 months, go ghost. Disappear. Tell your friends, hey, I'm working on something big. I love you. I won't be around as much over the next 6 months. Don't go to those pointless parties anymore. Don't go over to your friends, just drink beer on Sundays. No more wasting time scrolling on the internet. Unfollow all of your distractions that keep you from taking the action that you need to. I promise you, hey, your favorite influencers, they're still going to be there in 6 months. They will. And guess what? They're going to be doing the same shit they've been doing for the past 6 months. It's just the same things. Oh my God, they're wearing another dress from some designer. Oh my God, they're at the gym again. Oh my God, they're showing themselves put on makeup, right? They're doing all the same stuff. They're going to be doing the exact same stuff in 6 months after you disappear. And I would recommend, like fully recommend, that you minimize social media as much as possible. Unless you're using it to make money, unless you're using it to grow your business, delete it for 6 months. I promise you, you're going to love it. I've done it before. I deleted it for 6 months. Instagram, gone. Loved it. Amazing. I re-download it again. I forget that it's even on my phone. I rarely ever even use it. And if you have to use your Instagram and your social media for business, then pay attention to it and start limit the amount of time that you actually spend scrolling. Because if you don't control your environment's going to control you. Your friends, they're still going to be drinking at the same bars in 6 months. That Netflix series, it's still going to be there in 6 months. Nothing outside of you will change but you. I remember when my wife and I, we were boyfriend and girlfriend at the time, years ago, we went and we traveled for 6 months. We went to Europe and we went to Thailand and we went to Bali and we went to Dubai and we went all over the place. And we came back and we're like, I wonder what it's going to be like. We were gone for 6 months, almost exactly. We're like, I wonder what it's going to be like when we go back. How different are our friends going to be? Are they going to have these achievements that we didn't know about? We came back, it was like Groundhog Day. Everything was exactly the same. So I want you to understand that when you disappear for 6 months, it can feel a little bit scary, I know, but you're going to go right back into the exact same life. So nothing outside of you is going to change but you. You have to understand in these 6 months, even if you have a full-time job, even if you have children, I'm not saying don't feed your children for the next 6 months. I'm saying do all of the stuff that you have to do. Obviously, you have to keep your children alive. Obviously, you have to pay the bills. But around all of that, disappear. Go ghost. You are in full system reboot mode. Your old self, dead. Your new self, loading. That's what we're trying to work at. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to change our skill set, change our mindset, and actually start to rewire a new identity within ourselves. And so what you want to do to start to rewire your identity is speak as if you're already where you want to be. Stop saying like, I'm trying to start a business. Say, I'm an entrepreneur. I've got a jewelry business. So that's the first thing you want to do. Surround yourself with people who are already at the next level so that you can talk to them and see what they did to get there. And you can start to realize and kind of brainwash yourself. Oh my gosh, if they can do it, I can do it. So follow people that inspire you more. Read more about the people that inspire you. Join a mastermind if you need to of people who are doing the exact same thing that you do. You can take actions at that point in time that then start to match your future self. If you were already successful, what would you be doing daily? Figure that out. Write it all down. And then what you do is you just start doing that stuff now. And so I want you to understand this isn't just about the money. In fact, it's not even about the money at all. Money is just a byproduct of the value that you give the world. This is about going on the journey of becoming who you want to become in the process. You'll become more disciplined throughout this process. You'll develop more confidence in yourself throughout this process. You'll prove to yourself that you can transform your life a lot faster than you think. 6 months, that's all it takes. The time is going to pass anyways. 6 months is going to be here at some point in time. The only question is, will you be in the exact same place, or will you be completely unrecognizable? So just go all in. See what happens. Hey, if you loved this video and you want to watch the next one, YouTube thinks that you should watch this video right here next. So go ahead and click this to watch the next video. And if you want to subscribe so you don't miss any more videos, click this one right here.